Thanks for the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys? How you know who we are?
What's this they call it, the podcast?
Morning, Jay.
Oh, I love
Hey, welcome to the air. Thanks. Oh, wait, I'll start over.
Welcome to Morning
Fun. We're here with Paddy Defino
Hey, check.
and Joe Jacques.
Hey guys,
Is it Jacques or Jacques?
it's Jax.
Okay. It's pronounced Jacques?
Yeah, it's a French name that my family has made.
Oh, I always thought you were
more
Hispanic.
American. I am. Yeah, my mom's maiden name was
Who, what the
Garcia.
fuck are you?
Yeah.
Are you French or Hispanic?
No, I try to take more of the Mexican. Like I wish I could. On my SAT, I do put like Hispanic.
Just so you can say the N-word in the essay? You're like, technically, I'm close to...
You put the essay in
I'm close
essay.
enough.
Yeah. That's the thing about. I feel like with the Hispanic guys using the N-word, it's definitely not considered okay
Anymore.
But it's considered like almost like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna get their ass kicked for saying it, but they're like,
No.
not cool. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. But like, people don't know. I spilled water all over the recording equipment. Like before we set up perfectly for 35 minutes.
And then
Yeah, it was
an
pretty
entire
funny.
glass.
Yeah, scoot over a little bit. Get in here.
okay.
Get in here.
Yeah, one of the lights broke
right
in
on
the
the
house.
crack.
Patrick, whose real name is Padrick.
Patrick.
Patrick. I
I
had no
almost
idea.
forgot.
I thought we were signing a lease together, and I was like, oh, I thought Patrick was short for Patrick. Paddy.
With a
He goes by
T.
Paddy, but it's Padrick.
Oh, that's cute. Is that like
Yeah,
Gaelic or something?
P-A-D-R-A-I-C. I hate giving out my real full
I
goddamn
mean,
name.
they'll figure it out eventually.
Then you can find where I work.
You're gonna go on Oprah one day, and you'll open up, and the people will find out eventually. What
If I'm on Oprah, it's because I've like murdered a family, and for some reason the jury decided against my sentencing.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
have
yeah.
to explain myself. She's done, right? Oprah's done.
like canceled?
I think no, I think just like done with the show, right?
Yeah. I don't know what she's up to. She's doing. They're redoing her movie. The Color Purple was her. She was in that, right?
The
Was
new
she
one?
the color purple?
Yeah. I think she runs the own network.
Isn't that where like the slur for Italians came from? That Italians have black. They call them Mulianos, right?
Mulignans. Yeah, you ever watch Sopranos?
yeah, it means
He's like
that-
the fucking moolies.
It means a what's it called? An eggplant, right?
Oh, maybe.
Because
Yeah.
eggplant is so black it becomes purple.
Well, there's
It's a
also in
weird
True
thing.
Romance, I think, as they explain, because it's like the Italians feud with the Sicilians because the Sicilians would have kids with black people.
Right.
I think it's
Yeah.
just because Italians are so stupid
Yeah.
that they need to compare everything to food.
yeah.
They need to like.
It looks like the sushi people are coming through this neighborhood.
Yeah. Just an Italian guy like under the sink. So what happened? You had a loose cannoli. You got to tighten the fettuccine. That'll bring the cannoli over.
Well, it is so funny too because like they continue to disappoint. Like it's like one of these things where like I obviously make fun of Italians. I'm like whatever percentage Italian, which I found out I'm not. I'm like Croatian because like the people in Italy are from other places because it's a fucking port. So it's just fishermen coming in and fucking all the Italian women, and that's what that whole country's made out of.
That's why their pussies smell so bad. Am I right? It's not all that.
I put this in your pussy. I don't know how to do it.
It is funny because I am 1 for 1 in stinky Italian pussies. I've only had one, but it's like
you have a stinky Italian pussy.
stinky, dude. Stink
Yeah.
town, USA.
It's the flavor, right? Little bit.
It was unfortunate for her because she gave
because she has
like,
a sticky pussy. That's pretty
She had
unfortunate.
a stinky pussy, but she gave such good head that it was like I never.
Oh, she
ever
has to know
once-
then,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
she has
yeah.
to know.
If there's a girl that has a smelly vagina and is part of it like spoiled milk where you kind of want to go back in there and make sure like you kind of get a little whiff of it and you're like ooh, and then you're like ooh.
Yeah. I gotta get that one. Yeah.
Like if you scratch your ass, you just kind of want to.
I do like
all the
smell my
time.
fingers afterwards, but not when during
Yeah.
the vagina smells. It's just too much at once. You're like, this is too pungent. But like the smell of my finger afterwards, I'm like, yeah.
It's like a trophy. It's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
reminder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the Italians, they just keep disappointing. It's like I saw some video the other day. It's these two, I mean, whatever, fucking Austin comics, and they're like, the biggest lynching in the world was actually Italian guy, or the biggest lynching in America was Italians. You're like, okay,
Like the fattest lynching. Like, just a steel cable to hold up a fucking thick.
Like crane.
they just
Thick
so
wop.
want to be a part of something. You know what I mean? They just so
Yeah.
badly.
They just want to be. Yeah, they want to feel like they were treated wrong.
I do have to check one. Can you guys Wait a second. Get the engine going because I have to check the camera for one more thing.
Sure.
So
the
just
engine
keep stinky pussies for like one more second.
I don't know. Do you guys talk a lot about sex on this show?
Too much.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with too much sex talk. I haven't been in a podcast in forever to this capacity of. I'm trying. And me and Christoph's podcast, most of it was just like it would be a little bit about like saying way too much personal things about our girlfriends and our sex lives, and then eventually being like,
We got to cut that.
No, I think I want to know more about the breakups for you guys.
No, the Morning Good listeners have heard in depth
really?
every single detail on it. Yeah, they don't need to hear anything else more. And I talked to you about it. Me and Joe, Christmas, I took an edible and just hung out with this guy all day, and it was a great fucking day.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, you were high as hell. Just I was having such a normal day, and you were just like, "Dude, thank you for like being here when I'm freaking out right now."
You're on the Nordax Santa tracker. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's in Nigeria right now. Hide, he's coming.
Yeah. Dude, I was so like, it's one of those days too. Like, with like, it definitely happens more on like you were saying, like acid, definitely on shrooms and stuff like that, where like you do a drug and then it seems like the most adventurous day ever. And then really like we were just on the train for 45 minutes, but I was like, that was the longest train ride because I was kind of freaking out on the train. And then like me and you started having the most in-depth conversation. I was confessing like crazy shit, nothing crazy, but just like very like, stuff I'll normally talk about for the most part.
Yeah, that's my interpretation of you. Is like I can't tell if it's me or if you just do that to everybody, or not even that you do that, but it's you're as open as you are.
You are an open book.
Yeah. No, I think in general I'm a very open person, but it's weird though because the second you share a lot, there's always that little aspect of you that's like, "Ooh, did I just did that?" Because in my mind, especially with this podcast, I'm like, part of me is like, I want my kids to know everything. Like, I want them to listen. My son's going through a breakup. He's like, wow, my dad got jerked off by like a 60-year-old dominatrix in a hotel room. That's who he was.
Things are actually pretty good for me.
Yeah. But then part of me is also like, oh, that's going to be so disturbing having kids and having them know everything. But it is nice because it's like, I feel like with my dad, I feel like I don't really know who he is because I think he puts up this like, I mean, he's a great guy, but I feel like there's got to be hidden darkness that I haven't seen behind him because he's just like, he's literally Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, like just wearing tube socks. Like if fanny packs were bigger, he'd have that.
Just
like
fattening up your mom.
yeah, just
for sexual activity.
Oh, I don't remember that episode.
Yeah, he just like he puts like bacon and sugar in like everything, and she just keeps getting fatter. And
Because he
he's
wants
just
her
like,
tits to get bigger or something.
yeah, he just likes a big chubber. Dude.
We were watching it with Christoph the other day. He was getting really hot for the mom in that.
Dude, the mom is something. There's something about
I would want
a
her to scold
sitcom
me.
mom. Dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the teacher that you have that isn't a hot teacher, but the fact that she's your teacher, you have sexual fantasies about her.
Yeah.
I had teachers where I'm like, they're not hot, but at the same time, I would be jerking off like, oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, dude. I had like this one like Hispanic woman. She had that kind of like dead look to her, where you're like, you look like you're either on heroin or like half of a person, just like very thick darkness below the eyes. And she'd always talk like this, okay, class. And I'm like, just a reluctant hand job from her would be wonderful. Like, you know, you better study if you want to make an A next week. And I'm just like, oh,
Blowjob where she falls asleep halfway through, so you finish the job.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I would have sex with a passed out woman's mouth. That's
teacher.
No. But to be fair, that is passed out from boredom, not from.
If a student,
I like that I'm justifying me not raping a woman in a hypothetical. I'm like, in this hypothetical situation, I only have sex with her because she gets tired.
If a teacher passes out halfway through sex with a student, and the student
who is the
finishes,
rapist? Yeah,
is that like offsetting penalties in a football game? Like, everybody's clear to go. I think.
Everybody, they're just safe. Like, we're calling it. That was continue.
No flag on the play.
How was your Christmas as magical as ours?
It was magical, but we laid my grandfather to rest.
Okay, as a Christmas tradition.
Under
the tree.
Every Christmas,
we do it every year.
We dig him back up on Christmas Eve. So make sure he decorates the tree and then put him back on. No, but they every year we do go to my grandma. So his old wife. We go to her headstone in the cemetery on Christmas Eve.
That's fun.
And we sing Christmas carols like around.
You guys are so
cute.
Irish. That's such a like solemn thing to do. Just like
you sing Mr. Brightside.
Started out. We're just bawling. I was doing just fine.
That reminds me literally of like, what is it? the other guys where they sing like the and all the children were hanged. Just like all the drunk Irish guys get together and sing like songs.
It is just that, and we sing, but like this year, I guess they couldn't lock down the plot next to my grandmother for my grandfather. So what they're doing is they dug her grave and they just threw him on top. So he's only like 3 feet under.
Oh, damn.
Like he's just right on the surface. But while we were at the cemetery, the hole was open at my grandma's thing, and there was like a couple pieces of wood over the top, so it was very eerie.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Very
thought you meant
strange.
they threw him on top of her like in the same casket. Like he's just laying on her.
For one last lay. Yeah. We're making 10 children. Yeah. But this something super funny happened at the wake. And he's like a remarkable guy. Like I think like 600 people showed up to like view his like body, which they didn't do a good job with. Like they, you know how like when you go, they make you look like you're almost alive, like in the funeral home, you know.
Yeah.
But with him, dude, it looked like it was bad. It looked like there was like smeared shit all over his face.
His
and
tongue
like
was sticking out.
they didn't clip his nails, so like
It's like that Scream mask. Scary movie that was
But so at the wake, they were doing a like a service. There was a priest giving like a talk, and it was someone who knew my grandpa really well. He was like my grandpa was a coach, and he was one of his players. So he was going, and it was like so beautiful and touching. And while he's like, I'm starting to cry, and then all of a sudden, I didn't realize this, but there was about 30 kids there from my uncle was a coach. And they were all players of his, so they all came to like show support. But when you're like a kid at a funeral for someone who you don't care about, like it's the funniest thing ever.
Oh, you're playing with Hot Wheels and stuff, just on the casket.
So they're kind of like get a load of what's going on. So dude, in the middle of the speech, all of a sudden, like it's like the priest is at the casket and he's like flicking holy water on my grandpa. And like everyone is like bawling their eyes out, and it just goes silent for a second. And on one of the kids' phones, they just played a "Hauga" from behind. And dude, I went from like crying. I'm like 30 years old. I went from like crying to just like, what the fuck was that? I was so pissed at all these kids.
Oh, I thought you were laughing.
No, I was
dapping him up.
so mad. I was like, how do I beat up a teenager
Get away
at a
with it,
funeral home and get away with it?
Was it like a prank or was it like his TikTok going off?
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was perfect comedic timing, and it took me like 2 hours to understand. Like
it's funny.
It is funny, and they are kids, and they don't care to be there. At all.
Did you ever go to a funeral when you were a kid?
Yeah,
I feel like it was pretty heavy. I don't remember like it being lost on me.
It is heavy, but if you're at one, like I went to one when I was in college for my college baseball's coach's mother. And like it's a thing where it's like we never knew her, so like we're in there and like we pay our respects, and as soon as we get into the parking lot, we're like, she looked pretty fucking hot. like the jokes just start rolling.
You always give it like 1 second to. By the way, everybody, permission to fart in my casket. You can go all out on my funeral, wherever the bits are. Do them. Draw a Sharpie Hitler mustache on my body. Whatever makes it fun, I don't care.
Did you
Have a
see
good time.
the video of the guy getting lowered in the casket or like burying him, and he recorded something to be played out loud, and it's him going like, "Stop! I'm still alive."
Yeah, that is the funniest. We are maybe the best generation of humor. Is like kind of like those kids that grew up on the internet. You know what I mean? Like kind of our age. It's like so it is going to be fucking nuts when we die, and like everybody's like, yeah, okay, so Levels will be playing as I'm getting put in by Avicii. And my first funeral was either that baby funeral I had to go to, or
it was definitely that baby's first funeral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Baby's first funeral.
This goes in the scrapbook at the end. It's the last page.
It's just a baby's first funeral. Dude,
It's a baby wearing a tux in the casket.
Yeah, we stole this tux off a ventriloquist. Fit perfect.
Well, I have that bit about the baby funeral. The joke is that you have to put all the babies attending the funeral they had to get their suits from like Build-A-Bear Workshop. Just like pulling them off the bears and putting them on the bodies. But then my second one was my uncle who like died of AIDS, and it was just funny to learn what AIDS was when you're a kid, because everybody's like, he was gay. Like that was the whole conversation. Like, oh, gay, okay. Yeah.
Did they bury him face down?
Were you like Christian or Catholic?
Yeah, so I was kind of like I used to be really intense about God, and now I'm like I'm weird. I went away, and now I'm like getting a little bit. Life gets a little challenging.
Dude, you get sucked back into
Uncover some Jordan Peterson videos when you're 17.
Did you see that video of that guy storming the stage? He's like, I'm mentally ill. I just need help, Mr. Peterson. He's like, okay.
That's disturbing. That really happened?
Dude, yeah, people are getting... I never... The last thing I'll ever blame is like external things for like people going crazy. But it's just so funny like seeing like a guy like crying, storming the stage. He's like, Mr. Peterson, my life's a nightmare. How do I... And, like security's just tackling this guy.
I haven't made my bed in 10 years.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps telling me to read that book of his, The 12 Rules of Life.
I wouldn't say that's worth reading. I mean, yeah, no, it's stupid. Some of his old... I was like 17 when he really started to pop off, and some of his lectures were kind of interesting. It's the self-help stuff is kind of cool, but then he's just like, and that's why trans people are going to hell. And you're like, wait a minute, this is he's buddies with Ben Shapiro.
It's funny, like saying because most people are going to hell, right? I'd imagine heaven is not like a...
They never specify like how they say these are the rules and you can redemption it, but it's also funny to think about heaven being like extremely exclusive. It's like just people's grandmas from like one period of time.
Yeah.
And then like just babies and grandmas.
Yeah.
You know, when people are writing this in.
Also, people don't bring this up enough or ever, but like, you know how everyone's interpretation of heaven, it's like clouds and it's in the sky and like whatever. Wouldn't it be like sopping wet?
Because of
all the cum? What?
Because you're cum.
I don't know. There's sex going on in my heaven.
Because you're in like a cloud. And like a cloud is just like,
I was thinking the cum somehow.
Cum? What do you think heaven
Because of all
is?
every time you jerk off, I guess, I don't know, does
Someone in heaven's like, oh, fucking God.
You know, a priest would have an annoying explanation. He's like, well, see, my priest was an Irish guy named Father Walsh. He'd say, no, in heaven, nobody needs to come. Your balls are just always empty. There's always like some explanation like that. It's like, what about food? It's like, you don't need to eat food. I was like, well, I like the feeling of not having food and then having it. So I like the feeling of blue balls and then jizzing. So I would want that.
I also don't like that. This is my problem with the religious side of heaven because you're taught to be nice to people so that you go to heaven.
Which is a terrible motivation. Like it's like bad because then you're being nice to people for the wrong reason.
And there's not a lot in the Bible about being nice to people. Most of it is like, don't love anybody but God.
It's like if you kill your son, slaughter a lamb first.
The closest thing to being nice in a lot of the Bible is like, don't fuck your friend's wife. Or like, don't...
Or your friend's ox.
Yeah.
I guess I was like second best to a woman back then. It was an ox. Big ox.
But no, your point, did you finish the point is being nice?
Yeah, like I think you're a better person if you don't believe in heaven and you're nice regardless.
Yeah, but I will. I do get that. But then there are a lot of like, I think religion provides a great moral compass for some people though. Even though they're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's like some people just will be a piece of shit unless they think they're going to be punished.
I think there's different ways of being a good person. The Catholic one does seem to be very much rooted in like a fear of like going to hell or not making it to heaven or whatever, and I think that's probably the wrong reason to be nice. Is because you're like afraid. But then I guess your first image of your father is your dad. Do you guys get fucking spanked and punished or?
Oh yeah,
I think I got spanked.
So as a kid, you learn the way I should behave well is to avoid getting smacked around.
My ass smacked.
Yeah, the Bible tells you like the only way to not get fucked in your ass forever is to be nice.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember. My thing was having things get taken away from me. I remember there was one time I remember specifically I was supposed to go to Toys R Us and I fucked something up. Mom's like, we're not going to Toys. And I remember just falling to my knees and I'm like, I was like, please, they have a Batman car. I want to see the Batman car. I remember just being like in my mind, that was my first feeling of having something like taken away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and that is the same feeling of like a relationship. Like when my friend, one of my best friends killed himself, that is the same emotional response.
It's like, you're not going to Toys R Us.
Yeah, it was the same. It's just the stakes are higher, but in your brain, your adjustment level is the same. In my mind, because I was calling my friend's mom, I was like, no, please. Like I was begging, I was like, please. She's like, so-and-so's dead, and also, you're not going to Toys R Us. And I'm like, no!
Oh, Yeah, dude. You need that. Like, my big thing was like the first thing that got me. I watched The Simpsons secretly with my sister.
Yeah.
My mom gave us an apple for dessert. That was our punishment.
Aw.
And that was it, dude. I was like, no Swiss cake roll. That was my favorite, dude. You open up, there's two. You peel the chocolate off, and you peel the layers.
I've never had a Swiss
Never
cake
had
roll.
one.
No,
Very
no.
good.
No, yeah. We were like a weird I don't know, my parents were weird. So like I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. That was the thing I remember. But I just eventually got to an age where my parents would leave and I would just watch all kinds of garbage on the TV. Like I would just find my way around stuff, and then I would just hang out with people and watch shit on there. But they had weird rules where I couldn't watch Ninja Turtles. I couldn't watch Nickelodeon just because it was some people had this Cartoon Network just because it was weird. Like some people were just like which is weird because Cartoon Network was way weirder. But I remember telling my parents, I like quoted Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and I was like, lick my butt or something. My parents were like, you're never watching that show again. I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
they're like, where did you hear that? I was like, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And they were like, you can't watch that. I was like, no. I was like, this is my favorite show. I remember just like the anger. I was like, how am I going to know what happens when this Jamaican Grim Reaper is friends with a little girl? I was like, this is so frustrating. But then they were like, what else couldn't I watch? I remember
Fairly Odd Parents. We got the boot on that one.
for religious reasons.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing bad.
A lot of
I think
kids
they
can
like,
watch SpongeBob too. Is another big one. I remember kids being like, not because SpongeBob is so quoted now that whenever somebody's like, I didn't grow up watching SpongeBob, my parents wouldn't allow it. I'm like, dude, that sucks. Dude.
Yeah,
But it's funny, like 'cause I just see like a conservative Southern dad being like, "That's not right. You don't have a fucking sponge talking to people like
a
that."
squirrel can't live in the ocean.
Women can't be scientists.
Boy, this Patrick guy is pretty stupid. What does he live under a rock? Oh shit, he does.
Dude, you just fucking blew my mind.
Oh, you never got that reference?
Then there's the other side of it. There's like the cunty northeastern intellectual version of it. It's like, no, my son's not going to be watching SpongeBob.
Yes.
He's going to be watching one of my friends grew up on the History Channel. I'm like, that's so sad.
That's terrible.
I would always quote stuff when I was like in middle school with him. He's like, I grew up watching History Channel. I'm like,
That's how you raise a proud boy.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. If you just like give people enough history, they become a Nazi. Like they just become like someone
They
who
find out the root of every problem
Because
throughout
the problem
history.
is everything revolves around like white people being awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, we did that too. Damn.
Yeah, it is funny too because it's like I think they almost have Ancient Aliens in there just to kind of break it up a little bit. They're like, all right, let's
Yeah.
kind of get them on this side of conspiracy. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like they're like, you guys need to at least play 4 hours of non 9/11 conspiracies just to get
Yeah,
them kind of at a certain thing. Which we watched the fucking best episode of that. Me and my buddy, we took some edibles and we watched. First off, we watched some Christmas movie and it was my buddy brought up the best point. Every fucking Christmas movie, they're always like in any Christmas movie where Santa exists, the parents don't believe in Santa, but that makes
Who's putting the presents
yeah,
down?
it makes no fucking sense. It's
Yeah.
like that they're like, I don't know, I guess it just.
And
fucking
I don't think
happens.
anything has ever attempted to explain it. Like, if they don't explain, like, oh, they're hypnotized, or like I have
See,
no,
that would make
no
sense.
idea.
If if it's like a hypnosis thing where Santa also plants memories of them. That would be a
Yeah.
cool. Let's write this
Or
down.
the parents actually know that he's real, and they're telling the kids. I mean, that would make sense because
it's a psyop.
The only thing that makes it not
the
the only thing that makes it not make sense is the parents are saying they know he's not real. Like they tell the kids, like, sorry, Santa's not real, even though he is. But there's presents. But there should be a movie where it's like, no, Santa's just real. All the parents know it.
Yeah, that makes
And-
way more
yeah.
sense. Yeah. Because every movie, there's always the doubting parents. Like, what is it fucking the Tim Allen one where the psychiatrist is like, yeah, Santa, like I believe in that, and he's just a total asshole.
Yeah, and he got like 50 pounds fatter, and he's like, I think I'm Santa.
Yeah.
You're not Santa.
Yeah, you're just a fat fucking loser who lost his kid.
It'd be funny if it was in like a universe where they didn't believe Santa was real, but they thought like Epstein and everything was like real.
Oh,
And they're like,
yeah.
It was just Epstein dropping off his gifts, trying to lure people in.
Dude, I will say this. So, but first off, I want to pull this article up with Epstein. I got this today, and I was like, I've never been more excited about anything in my life. There is a George Floyd Epstein conspiracy theory going around.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That he was on the island.
Yes. No. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Okay. Okay. George Floyd was killed because he was going to expose Epstein Island.
You know, it was actually the little boy's cum in his ass that killed him.
Wait, I want to hear this out. Why?
As you can see here, George and his friends are holding up the number 3. This always starts with something.
It's always a number related thing, and the numbers never really line up.
Yeah. First off, you can't even. They even cut off his hands. You can't even see that he's holding the number 3. As you can see here, George and his friends are holding up the number 3 with both hands. The number 33 is the famous Masonic number. The number 33 is the highest rank in the Freemason order. Was George Floyd a Freemason? As you can see below, George Floyd was also involved in an amateur porn show called Habib Show. In the show, he claims to be 6 foot. Numerology 6'6" means love and loyalty, something that he proved later, unlike the Freemasons. George only fucked adults.
This is pretty airtight so far.
I decided to do some research. Of course you did.
Pretty
We can see that.
airtight, much like the kneeling that.
Not a lot of air seeping through. I decided to do research on his would-be killer, Mr. Derek Chauvin, and was only stunned, to say the least.
Mr. Derek Chauvin.
It turns out that Mr. Chauvin had a TV show on Discovery Channel called The Cash Cab. Wait. What is going on
Derek
here?
Chauvin. Oh my God.
He's the host of the Cash Cab.
That's the other guy.
Wait a second. It is saying
Ben Bailey.
this conspiracy says that Ben Bailey is George. Now
Honestly, I never even saw the resemblance. They do
dude,
look
the level of
very close.
schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Where you said no. Ben Bailey from Cash Cab
Yeah.
is also Derek Chauvin and murdered George Floyd so that Epstein wouldn't get revealed. Now let's look at the numeral. I think this is all based on, okay, that's all it goes into, but that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that would be the most beautiful bow on the whole George Floyd thing. Like, how would like liberals respond to that?
They're like, I don't understand anything anymore. Yeah. Stick a gun in my fucking mouth.
That's incredible.
I will say this with the Epstein stuff. I feel really bad
For him.
No. For people that are friends with Epstein, because I don't have any pedophile friends, but I have a lot of degenerate friends.
Not
And
that
having
you know of.
having to answer for their actions is the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
So the fact, and also like, these politicians were Epstein's party friends. Your party friends are literally your most degenerate friends. Like if you're getting judged by everybody you've done cocaine with,
Yeah.
like it's like literally like the most annoying thing. It's like they probably like just went to parties with Epstein and he had like good coke, and then it's like
Yeah.
now the person you barely hung out with, you're getting like seriously, and he probably, I don't know, he probably was a party machine. He probably tore it up on the fucking dance floor.
Yeah, dude. He definitely knew like all of the electric slide.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But
You guys call him Jeffrey Epstein. We call him Jeffrey Epstein Stanky Leg. because
He does
fucking
all the
tore-
kid dance. He's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
He but like that's the case because he was a guy who would come up to like famous people, like he would approach them.
Yeah, so
It
like
was
in your
very-
mind, you're just like, dude, I'm Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I'm just doing cool action movies. And it's like, dude, you want to come to my party and have chicken fights with models? And it's just you and Epstein. You guys got like hot, legal age women on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then, I bet you walking in, like I've walked in on people doing drugs at a party. Like I remember in high school, I walked upstairs, people were snorting codeine. And there's that weird reaction where you're like, oh, I wasn't supposed to see this.
It's like Michael Cera and Superbad.
Yeah. That's what probably happens at Epstein's thing. You walk in and next thing you know, like Bill Clinton's like banging a 15-year-old. We're like, fuck.
You're like,
You don't-
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Like the amount of times you've been to a party, you say, I don't know what the fuck I walked in on. It has to be.
Yeah,
It happens
dude.
all the time there.
Yeah, I mean, but if Patty was fucking kids, despite how close you are, wouldn't your first reaction to be like, nah, that guy I fucking barely knew the dude. So he's not,
true. Yeah.
who? I don't.
Other than the hours and hours of recorded footage.
That'd be the funniest interview ever. Is cutting between the interview of you going like, yeah, I was like, I didn't really know the guy. He was like kind of a friend, and then it's like, dude, I would die for you. Like, you're my day one.
It's just me on the podcast. Like I fuck children recreationally.
Yeah, it's
I'm glad you're not doing it medically.
It's Michael going like, he never mentioned anything about fucking kids, and it's him. So it's like, so we'd get them in the room.
So I get them in there, and then I remember when I sent you that photo. And then
Well, that was the funniest. I had the pedophile hunter on the podcast, and one thing I was just sort of like bringing up to him, I was like, well, a lot of people get too excited about pedophile hunting, and then they're all just like jerking off to pedophiles being hunted. He's like, I don't know who comes to pedophiles being hunted. And then I saw a clip of him on a different podcast. He goes, dude, if I caught an Epstein level pedophile, I would come buckets. I so badly want to clip it up. I like the guy, but it's just a funny thing to like the exact thing you're saying. There's footage of you saying. But
If Michael murdered somebody, would you help him? if it was defensible. But
If it was like if you did it in a way that nobody knew, like a hide the body scenario, and it wasn't like no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. You shouldn't help people hide bodies.
No,
It's
I
always
wouldn't
the
do
thing. Every fucking guy who watches too many like I don't know, motivational videos and too many Andrew Tate videos is like, bro, I'd take a fucking bullet for my friends. And it's like,
Yeah.
I would fucking bury a body. It's like, why would you do immoral? Like, it's like, that's not how.
Yeah.
yeah, it's also funny where I've heard the fucking Andrew Tate guys be like, if your friends get in a fight, I jump in immediately. It's like no questions asked. I'm like, dude, my friend started the fight.
Yeah. Most of the time, my friends start the fucking
dude.
fight.
If my
It would have to be something like not like if you were like, dude, I just got angry and smashed a vase over her head or whatever, I'd be like, I can't do
You say
this.
her head?
Over her head.
Assuming I can only kill a woman. In what scenario are you killing an adult male?
But if it was like a Blue Chew related accident or something,
what do you mean? I take so much blue chew that I kill a woman?
you take so much Blue Chew, your dick like explodes inside of her.
it comes like a shotgun.
Yeah, you got her head just explode.
Oh God!
Should have got the sildenafil. Sildenafil or whatever. If it was something like that, I would consider it. And
Yeah.
I would certainly, even if you told me, I would never snitch, dude.
Yeah, well, I don't know how that works with like knowing somebody killed somebody. Like, do you have to immediately, if you don't know who they killed, if somebody's just like, I've killed somebody, do you have to tell? Because I've heard multiple people just tell me like, I've killed somebody.
Yeah.
Just 'cause people,
Multiple?
yeah,
What? Who?
just people like people.
You can't ask who.
Yeah, just
I'm assuming they're in jail now.
not like close friends, but like you just hear somebody who's like bragging, like especially like knowing people from the streets. They're like, I've killed a motherfucker. And
Yeah,
like,
I guess
don't know-
also there's probably a lot of Southern dudes too who are like brag about the self-defense scenario of that they've got into somehow of like,
yeah,
you know, they're like, yeah, some dude was on my property and I fucking, you know.
yeah. I've heard a lot of like it's mostly hood people, like black and white, who are like, I've
Yeah.
killed a motherfucker, and then I'm like, all right, well, did like what? I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like I don't know the motherfucker that was killed.
There was a
Like I've heard a hood white guy be like, "Yeah, I've killed so many motherfuckers," and I'm like, I don't know if this is true, and I don't know. By the way, there's zero reason we'd bring race into that. I realize, but because I feel like who gives a fuck? But it's like I don't know who they killed. So am I supposed to go? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
And also, if somebody's bragged about killing somebody, it's like, how much do you know? You could always play. I thought they were bragging. I thought they were
Yeah.
trying to get clout.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
You'd be
yeah.
like, even though he's like, yeah, I shot the governor. You're like, I'm sure you did, pal. Like, you don't know if that's necessarily a real thing.
There was a kid I went to high school with who is in prison now because he was driving drunk and he drove off the road and hit like a bank and he flew into the second story of a
Oh my
house
God.
and killed a person in their bedroom in the house.
That's crazy.
So this person was just in their bed and a fucking car flew in on the second floor
Dang.
and killed them in the middle of the night.
That's wild.
Like they died quickly, but like that's
Wow.
like there's a picture and there's just a car sticking out of the house.
that's
like it's,
nuts.
yeah, and he bragged about
I
it
always,
all the
whenever
time.
I hear a car flying, I picture more than a feeling. That's always the thing.
Yeah.
Freebird solos playing.
Yeah, it must have been pretty gnarly for a few seconds while you're in the air and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Wait, so he killed them in where? I'm confused. He landed where? Like in?
He landed like
Assuming,
through
like, in his
the face
bed.
of the house on the second story
Oh shit.
and just like into a bedroom.
And you knew the guy?
Yeah, I went to high school with him.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you ever see that coming that he would be into that kind
You
of?
know,
behavior?
definitely didn't see it coming. The person in the fucking bedroom, dude. The second you see the fucking hood of a car, you're like, "What the?"
Are those
Your
headlights?
first thought is like, you're like, this is a crazy dream.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that has to be the. Do you know who it was? It was like an old lady or something.
I don't know. I think it was like a younger person. I think it was like someone who wasn't
Some
even
dude
18.
jerking off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time they ever watched child porn.
The perfect scenario. Yeah. Just nipping it right where it starts. Yeah, that's a beautiful ending.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah, I've only had one person like enter my room in the middle of the night. It is the scariest fucking
Wait,
thing.
what happened?
It was my roommate. It was the first night I was in my new apartment, and I put on like I was watching Game of Thrones on my TV, and I was just high as shit, like in my bed, and that's like the most ideal scenario to ever exist. Just sitting there, like chilling, like oh nice. And my roommate, I didn't realize this, but before I moved in, it was Tommy. He like unlocked the window. So he just like went outside and just like climbed up on the side and just lifted the window open and jumped in. And I just screamed. It was the funniest fucking thing ever.
That's so terrifying. Like my dad did that when I was they came to visit me when I was going through the breakup, and my dad had like this sleep mask on. And he went and he reached over to like close my laptop in the middle of the night, and I just thought like Davy Jones. I just like, and I was just like, ah! It's the scariest fucking thing in the world.
Did your parents or siblings ever sleepwalk, or did you?
We
I
all
did.
did.
I'd go pissing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we all
peeing
did.
is crazy. Yeah,
I
that,
took a shower in my sleep, fully naked.
wow. When you woke up in the shower?
I woke up in the shower naked, and you're so confused when you wake
Yeah,
up.
because you're there with another man and stuff like that. You're like, I was sleep gay sexing.
And my mom yelled, she's like, "Are you in the shower, Patty?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I fell back asleep, and I woke up in my bed dry, and had no memory of it.
I think a
And-
ghost
And the next
toweled you down.
yeah. And then the next day, my mom's like, "Did you take a shower last night?" And I was like, "Holy shit, I did."
I did, yeah.
Yeah. We all slept while it was
That's why I'm
crazy.
always scared when I take Ambien that I'll do stuff like that, and nothing ever that crazy. Like I've taken it a bunch of times, and like when you walk around, I mean, I guess maybe I just don't know. Maybe I like
Yeah,
done
you
horrible
wouldn't
things.
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is the you crash into his two-story house? Is the shower thing the craziest thing you did when you're sleepwalking?
Yeah, that's I think so.
I would pee in like I peed in like the hamper and the trash. I clearly
Well,
knew
that-
what's dirty and what's not. So like I peed in
Yeah.
the trash can and the hamper, which aren't like bad things to pee in.
That's
No.
a crazy memory my brother had, and it was I never shared it because I thought it was like almost so disturbing in my mind. But then the more sleepwalking things, the more normal this seems. Is my brother was sleeping. This is his story. And my mom just like went into the fucking, just like pulled out one of his drawers, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's just sleepwalking, just like, "Oh, yeah, it's, and then like fucking pulled her pants down and started pissing in his drawer.
Your
And he's
mom
like,
did?
"Yeah," and he's like, "Mom,
God, I wish it
Mom."
was mom's drawer.
And I'm like, dude, it sucks because I wish I was there. But it always disturbed me. And then I remembered, it's so funny. This is how I'm describing my mom. She's a very wonderful woman, but she does
Oh,
drink.
tell me more.
She does drink a lot. And then I
Viewers,
realized
rub my cock.
there's a lot of people that like they'll get super fucked up and then start pissing. And then I didn't know that was like a common thing.
Oh yeah, I like peeing. There's a
Yeah.
lot of videos of me. It's POV. Like you'll see like a
Emphasis on the P.
you see a garden gnome and you won't know what's going on. Then all of a sudden you see a stream of piss just hit in the face. Like I just take all these POV ones where you just see like a bush, and the next thing you know you see urine spraying at it, and then me just like I'm fucking.
Dude, I had this discovery when I was home because we've always been a bar of soap house growing up.
That's so.
I didn't realize how
Disturbing.
disgusting, because even now I'm a bar of soap guy
Yeah, me
because of
too.
that. But when I was home, I was like using the bar of soap, and I was like realizing like this has been all over my mom's pussy. And I was like, ooh, yeah. No. But then
like,
then I thought back to like when I was a child and I used a curse word. And like
She put it in your mouth.
like she might as well, like if I said fuck, she might as well just been like, all right, Patty, fucking eat my pussy.
Yeah.
Did you kiss your parents on the lips when you were a young boy?
Never.
Yeah, he kissed his mom on his pussy lips.
We didn't even, we never even like really hugged that much.
Oh,
we were
really?
very not physical touch.
Is that why you like intimacy now? Because he likes
Yeah.
intimacy
Oh,
now.
yeah.
He's like, oh, this was never what my parents gave me.
Well, it's not an insult, by the way. Dude, this motherfucker likes intimacy.
I
Fucking
know, he's
pussy.
always trying to bring
Yeah, no, I have this weird lack of intimacy.
Dude, this
where
motherfucker
it's
likes kissing
I'm
and hugging
fucked
and
up in a
shit.
different way. That I'm like, yeah. By the way, I this has been in the back of my mind. I don't. Let me just explain this again.
I'm what you would call a love faggot.
That's a little redundant. No, I don't know anybody who's killed anybody. I'm genuinely talking about like very bar people, like people you meet at a bar.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've killed a motherfucker. Not like somebody I know personally, or people who have.
Well, even
literally-
if you did, I wouldn't even judge. I'd be
No,
like,
I know,
yo, you
but-
get your boys, your boys.
I know. I have no friends like that. It's more like I've seen somebody on Instagram like saying like I've killed a motherfucker, or
Yeah.
like somebody like at a bar just saying like literally nobody in my personal. Yeah.
When I went to college, I went to a community college for 2 years, and there was a lot of people who served in the military who would then like go to that school.
I take that back. I know a veteran who killed somebody. Who told me.
I was gonna say there was this guy I met. He was like 32 when I met him, and he was telling me they were using this like high caliber gun. I think it was like a 50 caliber rifle, which I guess when you're in war, there's like a code of conduct where you're only supposed to use a rifle of that caliber on like equipment and machinery and whatever, like vehicles. But they would totally ignore that because it's war and who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And he said one time he shot a guy in the head, and he just like shot it and he just watched his head disappear in like a pink cloud. And like after they do that, they have to like debrief and be like, all right, so like what happened? He was like, yeah, I was aiming for a tank. And they're like, there really wasn't a tank nearby. He's like, yeah, I'm not a great shot. And they're like, all right, whatever. Like they don't really care, but they have to like do the due diligence and figure out why. But yeah, the pink cloud thing is fucking crazy.
I mean, so wait, did he? This is someone you were friends with, or was you just like sharing this in
Just
class?
call him out.
Yeah,
Name him on the
this was in,
podcast.
like-
What's your Instagram handle?
I don't even remember his name, but he was like, this was in like a physics class. And
That's very funny. He's like the physics of somebody's head exploding.
yeah.
The diameter of the bullet is so wide, you could see the skull explode out the back of their head.
I mean, I would like to, I guess, ask somebody who's willing to share what that experience or how much it fucks you up. Because
Dude, I've heard a mix. I've heard of some people who've killed people in like war, and they are way too braggadocious about it. They're
Yeah.
like, dude, that
and they're
is-
like, I think it's actually the only thing I was ever good at. In my
yeah,
life.
yeah.
yeah.
It's the only time I ever felt alive.
Yeah, it's got to be crazy to be in like the whatever war. What was the Vietnam War? There was like a lot of fire, right? A lot of firefights,
What?
a lot of guns and stuff, right?
Yeah, and fight. Well,
I don't know
there
if
is
that
the
one
thing.
was like all
that
like
was the thing.
Agent Orange and shit.
I think there was one war where they actually they killed people with flamethrowers. I think that may have been World War One or two.
I think it was two. Yeah,
So fucking cool, dude, to kill somebody with
Crazy.
flamethrowers. That's so badass.
but it's got to be crazy to like see like be killing Vietnamese people and then like live in New York City and you just see and
And
it
then
must,
everyone
like,
hates you because you're not welcomed back. Everybody's
or
like,
it's just
"You
like
killers."
it probably like triggers a response where you're like, I gotta kill this guy, and then you're like, no. This
Well,
is
it's kind of like
FAO
the thing
Schwartz. I
in
can't
jail
do
of
that.
people get out of prison and then have a hard time adjusting to like the regular rules of society and kind of
Yeah.
like want to go back in a way.
Yeah. I am also thinking of like, you know how there's those like Elvis was in Vietnam. He was in Vietnam, right? But he just like played music or something like that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him being like, they have like a prisoner of war. He's like, no, let me get him. Like him just like wanting to kill a Vietnamese person. He's like, no, let me do one. Let me do one. Just give me one.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You ain't nothing but a Japanese.
Yeah, that's atrocious to think about. The one thing I hate to circle around just before I forget this. The funniest part about we watched Violent Night, which is one of those movies.
Oh, that's the David Harbour one.
Yeah, it's what's his name? It was who's the Hispanic guy? He played the guy in Spawn. He played the clown in Spawn.
Oh, he was Sid from Ice Age. Luke Wazama? Or
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's the bad guy in this movie. And basically the whole movie is they're breaking into a house to steal a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because the bad guy hates Christmas, which doesn't need to be a plot point. Like why it's never explained. He's just like, I fucking hate Christmas while he's like shooting people. Like, why does that have anything to do with it? Just to top it off, and there's a point in the movie where he's going to kill Santa Claus because Santa Claus is like the hero in this movie, and he goes, "I've been waiting my whole life for this." It's like, why have you been? Why is
He
that?
got coal for Christmas.
There's no.
There should have been a flashback.
Exactly. They could have summed it up in 3 seconds. Like he.
That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, it's terrible. But just the fact that
It'd be so funny if like Bin Laden, like in his like manifesto, just had a whole section about Santa.
Yeah. It's like, why does every bad guy have to be like, I hate Chris? It's like there's no reason. He can just be a bad guy. And it's just so funny that you don't know. And like he says, I hate Christmas. And then just the very end, you have no idea what the tension is. But he just goes, I've been waiting my whole life for this to kill Santa Claus. It's fucking insane.
Was he raped by Frosty the Snowman?
It's possible.
He
With his
made
carrot
me-
nose.
Yeah, he made me wear the hat.
There's plenty of people that hate Christmas. There's a
We talk about shit end of the stick is when Frosty fingers your asshole.
Yeah.
that was good. I was gonna say something about Jews hating Christmas, but I couldn't really get. Yeah, you know that's why they don't do it.
Yeah, I don't think they hate. That is a very funny theory. People were like, they just don't like Christmas. That's not why they. cut
Yeah,
their
Jews hate
penises.
Christmas. They don't even do it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Greta Thunberg hates Frosty because his eyes are not made out of sustainable material. You know?
Maybe, or she's trying to save Frosty. She doesn't want him to melt.
She definitely thinks Santa's real.
Yeah.
Greta, for sure. That's why she's trying to keep the earth cold.
Yeah.
She's like, what about the reindeer? Ain't all the reindeer game.
I like that you're. Well, also another part of this movie, Rudolph wasn't in it. And are there weird copyright reasons to not have Rudolph? Because he's not in other movies besides Rudolph.
He's the only reindeer.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only one, the prominent one. you know?
We're joking about him just being like hard to work with. They're like, we don't want fucking. He's a real prima donna.
He was doing too much coke. His nose wasn't working.
Yeah,
That night.
it was an issue. But afterwards, we watched. Dude, it was so. Ancient Aliens is every single time the funnest show
Yeah.
ever. We watched one on Stargate. So you know Stargate, it's like a portal into like the whole theory of a Stargate is that like basically you walk through it and you go to the other side of so a wormhole is different than black hole. Black hole just collapses.
Yeah.
A wormhole. This is all based off of me watching Agent Aliens.
Stargate is like a kind of
It's a portal.
yeah.
Portal to another dimension.
Or just to the other side of the wormhole. So
Oh,
most of the
okay,
time it would be
sure,
like
yeah.
another dimension or on the other side of the galaxy. And
It's like a more efficient wormhole, right? Like kind of.
no, it's just the entrance to a wormhole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like
I don't know what any of that shit even is, you know?
Well, are they describing things that they're saying is real or like theoretically real?
So wormholes are theoretically real.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess just theoretically. I don't know enough. I just watched this on Ancient Aliens. But it was very funny because like it's always like an ancient site. They're always like Machu Picchu. There's a Stargate here. And the funniest one they said is they're like a lot of people feel that there's a Stargate at Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
So I was like, that is, you could not have sounded less credit. It's funny because you could be like, a lot of people theorize, a lot of people believe. You're like, does
Yeah.
it feel like there's a Stargate here? It
It's funny that there's never a Stargate in like a Popeyes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Hey, is that shit open again? I thought I had another line.
Well, we were just joking about that in general, just being like, just like at Machu Picchu, you're like, excuse me, is there a Stargate? It kind of feels like there's a Stargate. Just asking people at 7-Eleven, like, do you guys have a Stargate? Can you ask the manager?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
make sure there's not a Stargate?
Stargate near me.
Yeah. And then just think, yeah, it was just very funny to hear all that. And then like, I think about a guy paying so much for an apartment. He's like, yeah, of course, like $3,000 seems like a lot, but they got a Stargate.
But
Yeah.
Open the
When you
closet.
factor in the Stargate, it's not even worth it. And then it's like a guy walking into work all cocky. He's like, because in the beginning they're like, a Stargate can open any day now. We pictured a guy walking into the office like, oh, how's my week? Pretty good.
yeah.
Stargate's about to open. Go to
Dude,
the
that
next.
would be an incredible idea for a show. Is a guy who rents an apartment and it's got a portal into another dimension in
yeah.
there. And
Rick
like
and Morty fans.
people like
bust.
use the portal. So there's like
Oh!
all these people coming in.
So there's just like Abraham Lincoln coming in and
yeah,
stuff like
coming
that.
in. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that reminds me of the plot. Have you ever seen Being John Malkovich? It's like a dude he gets this job where he finds like a secret little cubby where you go inside and you get to live as John Malkovich for like 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so then he basically starts advertising it and people start paying to live as John Malkovich. And it's like a fucking, I don't even remember where it goes. I was really high when I watched it, but there was like that.
He does this with movies, by the way. Just to cut you off, we were watching Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I'm really high, and this is the second time seeing it. He had no idea what was going on.
Well, no, the first time I saw it, I didn't know either.
But that's
I'm
but
the
he's
same
let's watch
way.
it again and not know what's going
Well,
on.
it was Christmas, and it was one of those where you're 13 and you watch, and also still like it. It's still
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just such a complicated plot that I'm like, don't even care. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of like there's a couple movies I have like that. I like them, and I don't need to know what's going
I
on.
get that. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was a terrible interjection on my part, but
No, I think there was one fucking. I forget the point I had with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but no, the John Malkovich movie is the same.
I'm the
concept.
same way with movies though. Like if I don't watch it in a theater, I don't remember what happened. I need to be in a theater.
I was just trying to lock down this apartment. For the people that don't know, me and Padrick are moving in together.
Yes.
And it was the most stressed. Like in my mind, I was like, because for our other roommate, you're subleasing your place. You already have somebody to fill it.
Yeah.
For our other roommate, he's like subleasing in a couple months.
Yeah. So he's fine.
He's chilling. While
Yeah.
me and you are freaking. I was literally I don't have a place to stay.
Yeah.
I was looking up weird Craigslist places where it's like, hey, we're a family, but I swear to God, we're not weird. You can have our room. And I'm like, all right, I guess I might.
You're just
get a finger in
sleeping
my ass
with
in the
the
middle of the night.
grandma.
Yeah. Just some terrible scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were telling me there was one before. There was an advertisement for
It's like a nudist guy.
nudist guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's like, oh, as long as you're cool, and cool meant as long as you don't mind seeing my ass.
Yeah. It's not the ass I'm worried about.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have a bigger dong than me. Because then you're the head nudist by rule of law.
Dude, that's something that I don't know. It's that's gotta be so weird being a nudist in New York. So first off, if you're a nudist, just don't look for fucking roommates. Find other fucking nudists.
Yeah,
It's not that hard to find here. So actually, that might be a fun person to have on the podcast. But how does it work? It's like if you go to the store, it's just you just like to be naked. I like to be naked too, but I choose. You know what I mean? It's like
I would imagine they just walk around the house naked.
But I do that, so I'm a nudist technically.
Yeah, I feel like a
Go
nudist.
to a colony where you fucking belong.
I feel like a nudist. Yeah, you piece of shit.
yeah, get out of here.
I feel like a nudist. That means you like go to the bank naked.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
which you can't legally do. So I don't know, like,
Yeah.
unless you have like a certification. You're like, no, I'm allowed to show your child my penis.
Yeah.
I'm technically a nudist.
Are you guys comfortable with your naked body?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. I mean,
No, I'm
if I
not.
fluff it a little bit, I need a flick. I need to.
No,
kinda
I've
pull at
had
the head.
so many doctors look at my dick, and for most of them, I would fluff it up, and it's just male doctors being like, "I can't let him see my, my
Just
tiny
whack it
dick."
up.
My weak dick.
Yeah.
No,
Well-
I hate my naked body.
In
it's not
general,
like a-
because
it's
with
not
the
like
lady,
a-
I don't even care. But if it's with like
Yeah.
anybody else, then I can't.
Well, because
yeah.
you think it's because the lady's seeing it like hard.
Yeah, well, even my flaccid dick for a while, I wouldn't want girls to see.
Oh, totally. That
I wouldn't,
is fair.
and not even like I'll go up to use the bathroom with my flaccid dick out, but I wouldn't want the blanket off, just flaccid dick, just like hanging to one side. I would want to like kind of cover that up. Now I'm cool with it.
See, once
but-
I've had sex with them, I don't care because then it's like you've already seen the full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen what I
Yeah.
can become.
You've seen me at my
I mean,
worst.
my dick
Which is,
also gets
exactly 6 inches, maybe even 5.9.
Yeah, my dick can get so
My full potential is.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with my body. I actually love my body. Like I'm like confident about my body. Like even though I probably shouldn't be, but I hate being naked. I just like hate.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm not that confident, but I love being naked. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I have a serious, I don't know what it is, I have a serious attention problem where I crave it so much. Like, I've put sparklers between my butt cheeks so many times.
Yeah.
Like, there's a video of me doing one time, and then somebody goes, he does this all the time. You can hear somebody saying, he does this all the time.
Oh, that's the move, dude. Yeah, just get naked.
I
if people
picture
aren't
you
looking at
like
you enough.
having sex, and there's like a spotlight hanging from the ceiling just on your penis.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Dude, there's pictures of me. Like, there's one I have where my dick's got glasses on it.
That's great.
I got one. My ex, there's this video of me where I would draw. I took her phone and I took all these videos of me putting. I had a marker. I drew a face on my dick and I would interrogate it. And I'd be like, "Where's the money?" It's like, "I don't know." And then I'd put it in one. I'd be like, and then there's a picture of me. I'm gonna show you guys. You can't see my dick, but it's wonderful.
All right, then don't show it to me. Then I won't.
No, this is wonderful. We went to go see Triple X with Vin Diesel, and
Tough name for a movie.
yeah. No, let me pull this up. I'm wearing a bald cap, and it's kind of great because you can't see my penis. Give me 1 second.
You gotta hide so we don't actually see the other pictures of your penis in your
Yeah,
phone.
there's a lot of weird stuff here. I think it's under IMG.
Have you ever
Oh
seen?
yeah, look at this one. That you can't see my penis, but people can't see. I'm wearing sunglasses, a bald cap, and I have a glass of wine
me see
covering my dick. So it's me shirtless, glass of wine, bald cap, and sunglasses.
That's
And
beautiful.
I'm keeping like the straightest face too.
Yeah.
So I look like Vin Diesel just holding it.
My friends there's pictures of me from college because we'd all be drinking and I'd leave the room like silently and come back on with just a wig, like a big crazy wig,
That's
and
hilarious.
just totally naked. And I'd just be like, "Oh, what's going on?" But then they take pictures, dude. The camera ruined all the fun, dude.
Well, that was my thing with I have one ball, and that was my like party trick
Oh,
of showing people my
congrats.
one ball. Yeah,
Thank
it is.
cancer.
It was a sick party trick of showing people my one ball, but multiple people, including Joseph and Sabella, took pictures of it, and it's not even like I care that that they're having a picture of me like a nude part of my body. It's that the value of showing my ball goes down so much.
Yes, exactly.
Is that I'm not the one who gets to decide who gets to see my ball.
Exactly.
Because there's just a picture. So I'm like, you delete that. I'm not showing it to you again.
Not to like call back, but that's the thing I felt about my grandfather after all this.
Okay.
Because like all of
Where's this
these
going?
people told me these stories about him, and like one of them was like he bought like a headstone for this boy who choked on a hot dog, and like his dad couldn't afford it. I'm like, yeah, because he was eating a hot dog. But like you learn stuff about that about people, and it makes them more interesting.
Yeah.
Because like if I bought a headstone, I'd be like, oh, only $400. Someone's in love. Like I would be posting about it. Like some love.
Well, yeah,
Dude, I
espe-
pray-
especially kids nowadays, where not only just every aspect of their like personality is online, but every embarrassing thing they've ever posted is going to be
Yeah.
online too. So at their funeral, they're just playing like their TikTok lip syncs, and they're smoking like out of a bong, and it's like, oh god, that's what
Yeah.
he was doing.
Dude, it was terrible. I told you I had the N-word on my Instagram until like 4 years ago, and I had no idea because it's from when I was like 15.
And doing blackface.
Yeah. Picture of me with like my friend had a
The N word is just a picture of his friend who's black.
Yeah.
He calls him the N-word. I wish I didn't
I'm
spit
so
everywhere.
sorry. I didn't realize I had this on my page.
It's a picture of Martin Luther King on Martin Luther
it's
King Day.
Jasper. Yeah.
But it was like my friend had like a squirrel named Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm like hanging with my N-word Alvin.
That's really funny.
And it was there for so long until like one of my friends scolded me. And that's when I was like, all right, obviously I can't say it. And then I was like, oh, wow. I was like, this could not be on my Instagram.
Yeah, you're
And
like,
obviously
you're like, oh, sorry, and you're like, my N word, and then you're like, I'm not allowed to say his name. Keeping his identity anonymous.
but it was like, and then it was so hard not to look at who liked it. And I was like, all right, a couple black guys like the post.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm solid.
But whenever, what is it? My argument with that is I'll just defend it. You wouldn't fuck a 15-year-old, so don't judge 15-year-old me. My brain was not
Yeah.
developed.
Yeah.
But what was it? Yeah, like whenever I give a homeless guy money, I'm just like begging somebody. I'm just so hoping somebody walks by. at the
Yeah.
Dude,
exact
I
moment.
watched you do that. I was very impressed. I saw you give money to homeless guys.
That's
I've
only 'cause you were there.
Yeah.
If you weren't there, I'd spit in his face.
Yeah, I've also seen you do that, and I'm like, oh, very nice.
Yeah, keep talking about it on the podcast. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Well, somebody took his podcast.
One time I touched a homeless guy, accidentally.
I
He gave me
sawed
a
off my
fist,
hand.
and I fucking hit it, and dude, my hand stunk. I forget who I was. I was with someone who was like, "We need to wash our hands," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I should." Thank God, whoever I was with was like, "We should watch that," because I would have just like roamed around with a stinky homeless hand.
I don't know if it's just going to sting from touching it.
It did stink. Like,
Oh.
I smelled it, and I was like, "That stinks."
Have you lived in New York for 3 years? You said.
Yeah, since the beginning of
And
2020.
then where'd you move from?
Upstate New York.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the homeless. I had to get used to like the homeless thing. I only
Yeah.
moved here like 6 months ago, and it can be really depressing if you pay attention to it. And I'm not used to it. From Orlando had some crackheads, but New York was like, dude. There's one guy I walked by him today at work. Pretty much every day at work, I walk by a guy who's just a same exact spot in on like the subway station, just scratching like either a part of his leg or in his pants on his ass.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, there's some fucked. I'm like, I want to give money to all of them, but I also am like, I don't. There's nothing that you can like do about it.
No. Well, and it's also interesting too to think about because think about how, like, I got a rash recently from the antibiotics I was taking, and think about like if you're sleeping in your own filth, how many rashes you normally get,
Oh
and then
my
you're
God,
also
yeah.
on crack. And, like,
Oh yeah, I
itching-
thought it was the drugs, but I guess it might also be how you could smell them.
No,
from,
no,
like,
it's definitely
10 feet
the crack.
away.
It's
Yeah.
definitely the crack, but it's like the combination has to be like that has to feel so good to have like just the worst rash and you're high on crack and you're scratching because apparently it feels so good to
Yeah,
scratch
yeah.
on crack.
Well, scratching, yeah. If you have like a mosquito bite or something, you scratch. There is like the momentary sensation of like, oh
Yes.
fuck yeah, I'm alleviating that sensation.
Oh, dude, picking scabs when you're fucking
So
methed
good.
out. has
It's
to
like
be
the
amazing.
body's way of giving you something to do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with trimming your nails. I'm like, thank God we got a little game to play.
Yeah.
It's like I'm bored as
That's
shit.
very
Yeah,
good.
because that was like before. I have like a theory that's why we have fingernails because like we didn't have phones and shit.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh, if you don't have fingernails, you could never pick anything up. I'm like, that's just not true.
But
No
to
way.
be fair, I don't know. There are those things though that like.
I've worn gloves picking up chicks before.
What's up, baby girl? How you doing?
What's that? Oh, I'm just keeping my pussy hands.
Dude, what movie was that? That was what's that story with the giant retarded guy who kills the bunny and then chokes
Forrest
the
Gump.
woman?
The Iron Giant?
Of Mice and Men.
Yeah, of Mice and Men. The head, like the guy who runs the farm, has a glove. He's like, "This is my love making hand for my woman."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the second time I've made a reference to that, and I had no idea I'd
Yeah,
done
yeah.
it. Like in this
What was the
week.
other one we were talking about? We
The
were
other one
shooting a
was-
retarded guy in the back of the head.
No, it was about like squeezing rabbits or whatever,
yeah.
like killing rabbits.
Yeah, that like started a stereotype that retarded
Yeah.
people squeeze rabbits now.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's.
Well, have you ever seen a retarded magician?
That's a great point.
No. For my next trick.
There was a kid with Down syndrome who used to eat
Oh,
ants
no.
off the ground. That was
really?
like he was their god. He
It's
was
just a retarded guy with a. And
I've
now,
eaten it. Now I'm just.
and now I'll make my rabbit disappear. He's just like,
He turns into like a cube,
just
like he's
bites
like
his
some
head
sort of
off.
like X-Men villain. He's just a cube rat squished. It just eats.
yeah, I'm gonna make it disappear. Just throws it across the.
Yeah, that was funny because I was talking to a woman the other night. I was talking to this woman I was on a date with. She's like, "You're kind of autistic," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then afterwards, she left. I went to bed watching Batman the animated series, and I was like, "Oh God, hard thing to argue." But people use that too often. I was like, "There's no way
Yeah.
I have autism."
Yeah, autism is like it's kind of like the new like not depressed, but like something like along that line where people are like it's like a pride, it's a badge of pride now to be autistic.
Yeah. So I took that.
I
as
do
a-
think the umbrella of what's considered autistic has probably grown a lot in terms of someone can appear very normal and yet fall into the spectrum. Whereas before you assumed autism was like the, like fucking crazy Rain Man type person.
Well, that's also the interesting part because it's like
Like,
all
yeah, go ahead.
like all the furry animal kids, like were they always just there in different forms? I know
Yeah.
Mullen has that bit about like slave collectors used to be like that's like the same as whatever. But I wonder like if like genuinely thinking about like black and white times, like what was the like did those people just not exist or is there more like what is it? Because it's like there's what was that version of the kids who are like I don't know, just the kids who like are obsessed that have like one of those little furry tails. Like that's not.
Yeah.
I would imagine they didn't make it very far.
Were
I
they
would
just
have
killing them?
guessed it's
They
like
just
they
probably
were
kept
the
fucking the dog and they're
Yeah.
like, you gotta stop fucking
Yeah.
the dog.
I think they were the guys who'd get shot in the back of the head, or they, they
Or
get
that was
fucking-
like,
That's
or maybe
I
true,
bet the
yeah.
bullying was crazy in like the 1800s. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the bullies were probably nuts.
Yeah, thinking about like 20s bullying, just like Finkelstein, you come back here. Well, it's very like or maybe they just like had to become like maybe like Oppenheimer, like and all like maybe Albert Einstein too. We always think of him as like this pussy.
Yeah,
hound,
that's
but Maybe
true.
he was like just very, like
Maybe he was a furry.
yeah, maybe
Albert
he was like
Einstein.
where was he from again? Germany.
Yeah, or Austria or something.
Yeah.
All the greats are from Austria.
Well, we also have a way to connect in a way that we never have. Whereas somebody back then, it's not like you innately know that you have a thing for dressing up like a horse. and
How
getting
hard?
fucked.
But how hard is it to fit in back then when everybody's just wearing the same shit? Like it'd be so
Yeah.
easy popular. Like I guess I'll wear a suit too and talking like this.
Yeah.
And like yeah, okay, I guess we're all normal.
Yeah, I have no idea how. Dude, I have no idea.
And then one guy shows up on a petty farthing, like they're like, get him.
Yeah, I have no idea how they all didn't just kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's like you either spend all day in the mine to like get a grain of rice for your family. It's like no, just fucking kill yourself.
yeah.
Well, I think that is probably like the reason they didn't kill themselves. I think now you're seeing people who are more depressed because they don't have much of a struggle.
Yeah.
And back then there wasn't like a God, I'm sad. It's nobody was walking around being like, I'm so like, I don't know what to do with my life. I think it's like, what's the point of living? I don't think the point of living question came up when they were like rubbing soot out of their eyes
Yeah.
and like two of their kids just
There was
died.
no like photos
Yeah.
of Doja Cat to make you feel bad about your
Yeah.
body. God, what a bunch of pussies, am I right?
I
What,
definitely-
those teenage girls killing themselves.
Yeah, I think the more comfort you have, the more the rate of suicide goes up. Whereas I think if you do have more of a thing to struggle about, it's not you. It's almost like you don't even have time to.
So you think
worry
maybe that's
about-
why teen suicide? Because teen suicide's really interesting to think about because it's like I'm very empathetic with suicide, but for some reason when I hear teen suicide, I just think puss. Like in my head, immediately I'm like, you
should have held it.
like
it-
you haven't
well,
had life
yeah.
hit you with the. But then it's like I don't. But it's like
Do
you're.
you think your level of sadness when you were first experiencing like adolescent sadness is comparable to like any kind of sad you feel now?
I don't know because it's
Or
the
is
same thing. I think it's the same equivalence as before. Like the Toys R Us thing was like devastating to me, but
Yeah.
also I've had like multiple friends and that's devastating. And in my mind, I responded with the same amount of feeling.
Yeah.
But I got over it faster because I realized I was like, oh, I can go to Toys R
Well,
Us.
like,
My friends aren't coming back.
What we were talking about of like a breakup is kind of comparable to like real grief or what.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Breakup is like worse, I think.
Well,
in
it's
a lot of
grieving
ways.
someone that's still alive. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
And especially now, they're like always so close to you in terms of like you could text.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. When my dad, I'm sure, went through a breakup, he would go through breakup and then was able to just forget instead of when I go through breakup, stalking their social media like it's a drug. Like
Yeah.
going to be like, how can I make myself feel bad today?
Which is literally impossible not to do. Like it's impossible. Like it's like
I think if you have really good habits
I
to
do.
avoid that,
I
and-
like completely am cut off.
you've never done it though.
I might have done it like when I was like in college,
Yeah.
and it's like a check-in kind of thing. But like
Excuse me.
you kind of I've had so many relationships that like I've been like madly in love and then just get broken up with. I'm like good at getting dumped now.
Yeah.
And I just go.
What was the
and just
hardest one? The
chop it
first
all.
one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And it was like, I feel like I knew the guy that she was leaving me for. Like, I feel like I met him because I remember meeting him. She moved to college and I was like still in high school. I went out to visit her and there was this guy that was like hanging with like her group of friends. And I kept thinking, I was like, this guy is like the coolest guy ever. And then
You're
like,
nudging her, like, have you seen this one?
I'm like,
you guys
he's like
met?
so strong.
I
And
saw
like,
his dick huge. I can't
Yeah.
imagine the
And then she
horsecock on
broke
this
up
man.
with me like a month later, and I was like, I never thought about it, but I'm sure it was like that guy. And that guy probably just fucked her and then moved on because he was just the cool college, like
Yeah, it is-
upper class.
It is so funny the level of like everybody just
Everyone's
wants-
chasing the snake's head or whatever that thing is.
How long do you think it took before you were like done being sad?
Well,
about
dude,
it?
the crazy thing, it took me like probably 2 years to be like totally over her because I was like madly in love with her. But the crazy thing is, before we broke up, she like wasn't having her period for a while, and I was just like blowing loads inside of her, dude. Like just no condom ever, because this was like my first sexual partner.
Yeah.
And she stopped having periods, and then one day, like 3 months later, she was like, "Oh yeah, I had a period. Everything is fine."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then like I got blackout drunk like after we broke up, like a year later. And I was like cooking eggs at a party at my house, and like there was like a crowd of like 12 people around me. I have no memory of this, but I was just shouting about how she got an abortion. And like I was like, "Yeah, she got an abortion." Like she didn't
While you're
tell
cooking
me.
eggs, that would remind you.
While I'm burning eggs on the stove. And people told me that they're like, "Yeah, you were yelling about how she got an abortion." And I was like, this was the next day. I was like, "Holy shit! I think she did." Kind of like my blackout mind knew it, but like
yeah.
And I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, I just couldn't tell you because like your parents were so pro-life."
Wow.
I was like,
Oh,
That's
fuck.
crazy, dude.
Yeah,
There's almost a little Patrick.
I know, dude.
That's
I was
wild.
like,
Does that fuck
ready.
with you at all?
Yes, it actually does.
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
totally like in my mind, people really underestimate. It's like I am for the most part pro-choice. Like I don't know where I draw the line. I was talking to you about this. I was like, I have no idea where that line is drawn. Where I'm like, now it's a baby. Because some people
Yeah.
are like, this half its head in, it's not a baby.
Yeah.
You can chop off the head if it's coming in head first. But then they're like,
that one's even more fucked up. Do you feel fucked up that you weren't involved in that conversation? Do you think things would have gone different if it was
No.
at least brought up to you?
Because it was definitely the right call. And I think like asking for my opinion, I would have been like, we should have the baby. And then it would have
Yeah.
made things more difficult. And like
Yeah.
now I'm like, but it is, I don't know. I'm
And do you-
thankful that I don't
I-
have a kid now.
I tend to go like, it is mostly her agency, her body, like her decision.
For
but there's
sure.
probably some part of me that if I were you would be thinking like, there is some form of decision that was taken away from me.
Definitely. Yeah, it was like like I said, it was the right thing, but it would have been good to know that, like being told that instead of like asking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, I was like, I fully convinced myself like before she had her period that I was like gonna raise a kid, and I was like, I feel like I'm ready, even though I was like 17 in
Oh,
high
God,
school. I
yeah.
was like, I think I can do this, and
Which
like,
is a much more kind of courageous response as opposed to like, please, I'll fucking do anything. Like, I'll break up with you if you have it.
I'll break up with you. Yeah. I don't know. But you want to have a kid like out of choice, like like you want the timing to be right.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Typically, but then a lot of the people who do have it forced upon them, I don't think ever usually would admit to regretting it.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, well, I was as ready as I was going to be, and thank God we. It'd be crazy if more parents are open about like, dude, I got fucked when I was 16. I hate this kid.
Yeah.
yeah. I know people that obviously know. They're like, that's got to be so weird because I do people that know they're an accident. I don't know if it fucks with them or not.
Yeah, dude, my best friend from back home, his mom tried to have him aborted and it failed.
Wow.
And like she's their only child. And
my
like
God.
she's like, thank fucking God like that didn't work because like she's like,
Yeah, it is
they-
funny,
so
too, though.
loving.
Yeah, every kid who like was almost aborted is now like an argument for abortion. It's like, yeah, well, because what other side are you gonna take? Like,
Yeah.
there's
Well,
no world where you are pro-choice. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no because you were the end of that thing. But it's like I really philosophically I don't know where it starts because it's like I was talking to you about this. Like a clump of sacks is less of a life than a deer. And I don't know why it's all right for me to eat a full-grown deer who has a family who knows them. Like,
But not eat a fetus.
yeah.
Wait, what do you mean a clump of sacks?
Sorry, clump of cells, sack of cells. People always just use the same analogy, but it's like at some point I do, and as I said, I'm not a scientist, but at some point it is like all these cells and like this weird thing. It's not quite a baby, and I think that live deer is more of a live thing because that is a family that knows it. It's lived a life, it has a family that knows it. So I don't know why I could justify me eating that deer, but not. I mean, let's go this far: me eating that fetus. I don't know where. I don't know where the line gets drawn.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something we can.
Maybe embryo is the correct term. I don't know
if that's something we can figure out like scientifically or even like thinking about it hard enough. I don't think we're gonna figure it out by thinking about it and like philosophizing it. I think the most helpful thing is to be like, how would I feel if my girlfriend got pregnant and I really didn't want to, or even like some random girl I hooked up with that had face tattoos.
Yes, pregnant. That is the real scenario. The fattest woman you could imagine. You accidentally get her pregnant.
Yeah, I think all arguments about like when a life is a life go out the window and you're like, yo, I would rather my life go this way.
Dude, but also like the female body like responds to an abortion. Like it's really hard on them, like emotionally, like because everything like kicks up like after it happens, and like from what I understand, like almost every woman that has an abortion is like, oh my god, what did I do? Like because that's like the chemical response that happens. It's like your body's trying to tell you like, don't do that. You know, this is the reason for life. But like I don't know. I think I'm pro-choice because like I don't know. I don't really care. But the one I don't like is the postpartum or the whatever the late term abortion where like the head peeks out and they just fucking slice the head. Have you ever heard
real?
of that?
No.
I was making that up as a joke.
No, that was like a real.
Thing.
I think it's like illegal in some states, but that was like a big thing that like a lot of my family protested against because they're like, because it doesn't count as an abortion, so it was done in places that abortion wasn't legal. So like the baby is technically born, but it's like just the head, and they literally just like saw the head in half, like and then deliver the baby.
I feel like other things would make more sense. Like if you stood like with like maybe like some sort of dart gun, just hit the head that way. You don't have to have
a Glock.
Well, the fucked up thing is that a version of an abortion is the healthiest version of an abortion for a woman because they carried the pregnancy throughout the whole thing. And then, like, it would be like if they delivered the baby and then the doctor dropped the baby.
But, like, for their vagina, I know it's not like the big... For my concern, I'm like, we're destroying vaginas.
Yeah, no, I think their vagina, their mentality... Yeah, I guess,
in my mind, I'm like, wow, if you get rid of it earlier, then you're getting a smaller thing coming out of the vagina.
Also, I guess, like, men who watch the thing, like the birth... like are never able to look at a vagina the same way again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's
the
portal,
vacuum
dude.
cleaner thing seems like I don't know if that's actually a thing that happens, but
yeah, like the
I think they
sucking
scoop
it out.
I don't know. It's got to be very traumatizing.
I really just
for
picture like
anybody.
Consuelo from Family Guy, just like,
But I want to keep. I want to keep the baby.
Yeah.
No, you don't have baby. I take baby. No. You are a whore. You were born in hell.
She's just spraying lemon pledge.
Mr. Superman is not here.
Well,
You hear that, Seth MacFarlane? I think he got some new writers.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky dog. I can't get a girl pregnant. It's nothing comes up.
Does any part of you? Okay, so you had cancer, then you don't have a testicle, or you have one testicle.
Yeah.
Um,
But I also don't have a testicle.
yeah.
You should get your second testicle replaced with like a whoopee cushion, one of those self.
So you can
sit on your balls
Yeah,
and
just
fart.
I always made the joke of something you flick it glows or plays music or something like that.
Oh,
That'd
that'd
be
be
fun.
sick! Like a fucking
Yeah.
like a Bluetooth speaker in there. Yeah. It's just gliding up. I
It's like,
got
yo,
a
guys,
feeling.
check this out, guys. I got guns in my head.
Feelings in my. Just turn it blue and green.
Yeah.
Bitch, I said what I said.
I had a friend who had cancer and his like testicular cancer, and he also got a testicle removed. And I told him like because he got like a false one, like a fake one. I told him he should get like a cube one.
That is so sick.
Yeah.
That would be lit. No, I thought about all that stuff, but then I was just like, leave it. I think I would have had to
Yeah.
figure out how to do the prosthetic, and I was like, I kind of want one.
Wait,
In
would it be
Rio-
called a Pubix cube?
Wow.
Yeah, so I could
This
dab
is
it
when
up
you guys
and
are
down.
talking. I'm just like formulating. I'm like cube. There's something fucking there.
It is kind of you do have more space down there. That is a nice thing.
Yeah, now I kind of forget what it felt like to have to.
But
Or
is the
to
idea-
come. I don't remember what it feels like to come anymore.
So you don't, but it feels good, right? Because you just get that spasm.
Yeah, it still feels like an orgasm, just nothing comes out. It still gets
Yeah.
hard, and it still only lasts
In
like
Does
fairness-
air,
a
it'd be funny
minute.
if air came out like a.
And it is good that like that is the grossest part about like jerking off.
There is some amount
You
of
can literally jerk off
clarity
anywhere.
that has been alleviated by not having. I feel like part of this shame in jerking off is the cleanup.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
It's
a great.
going
I
like,
never had post nut clarity before I jizzed. This is a great. I never
Yeah.
felt shame. I would just
because
spaz
it's
and be like,
gross and it's like, oh, I gotta,
Yeah, you
waddle
basically you're having
over.
female orgasm.
dude,
yeah,
that's
a little dry nut, and
Yeah.
then I still got my shit freezing. So hopefully, whenever I decide,
Oh, so
Oh,
you can still have a
nice.
kid.
yeah,
Dude, that's
God.
awesome.
I
I
might
wouldn't
just
want to adopt.
I might
Can you
just
bring your
freeze
cum on the
my.
podcast next time? I want to see it.
I would need to unfreeze it. I'm paying a lot of money for that. Shit,
Yeah, I think
bro.
that it might ruin the cum.
Yeah, I thought about that though because I don't ever get the experience of jerking off onto a girl's face. Like I never get to come.
You just
on
have a
lady.
cup ready.
Yeah,
I just like have a
pour it.
turkey baster and just waste all of my all my chances of having a kid. Just get to come on her face.
Dude, well,
How many kids do you get out of one?
I think it depends how much because I had a limited amount of time before I could freeze it because there was only so many jizzes I could do within the 2
That's
weeks.
a high
that-
pressure whack.
yeah,
It was a little and it was a high. You're in a separate room, and they do give you like Amazon Prime. I used my phone. I remember the video I jerked off to. I conceived my potential child to.
It's so
What
funny
was
because if I had Amazon Prime, I would jerk off to the scene from The Boys where he's like sucking that lady's tits while she's jerking
Oh
off.
yeah, or the dude's in the guy's cock.
yeah.
No, it is actually fucked up. I looked on the Amazon Prime and it said their most recent video was "I Spit on Your Grave," which is like a rape revenge movie
Oh,
of like a
nice.
really intense rape scene and then
Yeah.
like really violent second half. And I'm
Maybe
just like, what
before that guy's
motherfucker?
come out.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you
Maybe
also-
don't use this guy.
You got some free rapes. 'Cause there's no DNA.
It's a great idea.
I'm
Yeah,
not trying to
that's
put
true.
any bad ideas in your head. But,
Yeah, I like that you would get blamed. They're not gonna be like, Pat, did you hear you got this idea from somebody? But the thing I'm wondering is like, okay, so you have your cum and it's I'm
And
just thinking of
you
good
eat
pranks
it,
to pull
too.
on him. Like we unplug the refrigerator at the place.
oh yeah,
Or maybe we switch his cum with somebody else's. His baby comes out Chinese. That'd be
that would be cool.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It would be. I wish.
Have you seen that video? I showed you that. Oh, you're sorry.
I was gonna say, I wish that like it was kind of random, like what kind of baby you have. Like if a black guy comes in a black or a black guy comes in a white girl, like the baby's Chinese, like something like that.
Dude, this might solve an interesting level of racism. If your
Yeah.
baby, oh, dude, if you could somehow genetically modify human beings to where they come and any race can happen, then you're like, I
I
can't be
think
racist.
I think it would need to be randomized. I think that could easily lead to just like
Oh yeah, look, this is taking every human being against their
Yeah,
will, and
yeah.
manipulating their DNA.
Yeah.
Maybe through a vaccine.
Oh.
Did they do it already?
Yeah, I
Did
don't know.
they-
I haven't had any
Ooh, who
any
knows?
pregnancies
Yeah.
yet.
But it is interesting because you would go like, oh, my kid could be any race, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to be racist. And then people would also be like, oh, whoever can have sex with whoever because like
Yeah.
there's no keeping the bloodline clean or any weird thing like
Or it's
that.
like what position you come in is like the race of child.
Yeah.
Missionary, it's white. Missionary, it's white. Doggy style, black.
My favorite was
You're doing like some weird Kama Sutra or whatever. It's an
Indian.
Indian.
the what was it? Fucking I was still thinking about. I showed you that video. My favorite is that video of that little Asian kid, and he's like, this kid's wearing like a collared shirt, and he's like 4 years old. He's like, there's a weird conspiracy theory that Asians are smarter than other races. This is absolutely not true. And I'm like, I'm looking at a 3-year-old Asian telling me this. I think they are smarter than all of us.
Yeah. According to my calculations,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is incorrect.
He's like, we just work harder, and he's like, and now you're just that doesn't. By the way, that doesn't make anybody feel.
Yeah,
Less-
it's like now
it's-
you're just being racist.
Yeah. As a white person, I'm more sad if you're calling me lazy instead
Yeah,
of just dumber than Asians.
yeah, instead of ignorant.
Yeah. But let's wrap it up there. What do you guys want to promote?
check out Rough Week, I guess. Yeah, it's Rough Week. Christoph and Luke's podcast. I'm producing it now. That's pretty much the only thing I'm working on.
Well, then what's your Instagram handle?
Joe__Jax, baby.
Nice.
Is there anything you want to promote besides him raping women so there's no DNA, which you clearly promoted on this podcast, and we will hold against you one day in court?
Yes. Patty is funky on Instagram. I don't even know. Don't even worry about the Instagram. Just News from Bed, the podcast. But anyone
I like
who,
you playing hard to get. Don't even worry about it. Don't even.
the
I want you guys to
Instagram,
unfollow me
I'm
if you do.
done with Instagram,
Really?
dude. I'm done. It's for like chicks.
Okay.
It's a chick thing.
That's how you get shit.
Think about
dude.
this. We're all concerned about the algorithm. It was made literally by Chinese nerds. What do they fucking know?
Yeah, a
You know?
lot, as we discussed.
Yeah.
3-year-olds are.
Chinese 3-year-olds
All right, you know what?
deciding
Follow
Matt
me
Rife
on
is going to be famous.
Follow me on Instagram. Patty is funky.
Thank you for listening. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Appreciate you guys.
Ho ho.